It is the night of December 25th, 1943. Christmas in the Arctic is not marked by lights or celebration, but by darkness, wind, and a sea that feels alive with violence. Snow lashes sideways across the deck of the German battleship Scharnhorst as she cuts through towering waves in the frigid waters north of Norway. At over 31 knots, she is one of the fastest capital ships afloat, a predator built for speed and power. On her bridge stands Counter-Admiral Eric B., commander of the operation, staring into the storm with the weight of the Reich's expectations on his shoulders. Scharnhorst has been sent out with a clear mission: intercept and destroy a British Arctic convoy bound for the Soviet Union. These convoys are lifelines, carrying food, fuel, and weapons eastward. If Scharnhorst can break through, the damage would be devastating. B knows the risks, but he also knows his ship's strengths. Speed is his shield. In open water, he believes no British force can catch him. Then the darkness explodes into light. Star shells burst overhead, bathing the frozen sea in a ghostly white glow. For a split second, the horizon is visible through the driving snow, and in that instant, B sees what he did not expect. Muzzle flashes, British guns, not merchant ships. Enemy warships, comes the report. This is not the battle B came for. Scharnhorst is powerful, but she is alone. He cannot afford to be drawn into a fight against multiple British ships, not in these conditions. He reacts instantly. Hard turn, 150 degrees, full speed. As Scharnhorst swings away, her massive aft turret, Caesar, rotates with mechanical precision. Even as they flee, they will strike back. Caesar fires a thunderous salvo into the darkness, the recoil shuddering through the hull. The goal is not victory, it is escape. British shells begin to fall closer. One finds its mark. A violent impact tears into Scharnhorst's radar array. We've lost the radar. Without radar, the Germans are blind in the Arctic night. Snow, darkness, and sea spray swallow everything beyond visual range. Keep firing, full power, lay smoke. The engines roar as Scharnhorst surges forward, black smoke pouring from her funnels to obscure her escape. Another shell slams into the ship. Damage report. Superficial. Full power. They won't get us. Scharnhorst pulls away, her speed doing exactly what she was designed to do. With radar destroyed, B knows he cannot continue the mission. Reluctantly, he gives the order: return to port. What B does not know is that the British cruisers shadowing him are only one part of a far larger plan. As Scharnhorst flees southward, British signals crackle through the night. Scharnhorst sighted, course 115 degrees, speed 28 knots, am shadowing. Far to the south, hidden by darkness and weather, waits the trap. At its center is the battleship HMS Duke of York, flagship of the home fleet. On her bridge stands Admiral Sir Bruce Fraser, calm, focused, and utterly determined. Fraser has not delegated this mission. He has come personally to destroy Scharnhorst. When the report arrives, Fraser allows himself a thin smile. The German battleship is sailing directly toward him. Moments later, Duke of York's radar operators call out: surface contact, bearing 295. Range 35,000 yards. Fraser orders a slow, deliberate approach. They stalk their prey. 30,000 yards. Patience. Scharnhorst has no idea they are there. The British battleship plows forward, undetected, through seas that threaten to tear smaller ships apart. 20,000. Hold. 11,000. Take aim. Duke of York's massive turrets awaken. 10 14-inch guns trained into the darkness. Order Jamaica to fire star shells. On Scharnhorst, the crew believes the danger has passed. They are heading home. Then the sky ahead erupts in white light. A star shell blooms directly in their path. Before anyone can react, Fraser gives the order: Fire! The night is torn apart as Duke of York unleashes a full broadside. Columns of water rise like mountains around Scharnhorst. One shell strikes true, punching straight through the forward turret, Anton. Inside, every man is killed instantly. To prevent a catastrophic explosion, the next turret, Bruno, is flooded. For a moment, Scharnhorst's forward firepower is gone. Bay understands the reality immediately. He is trapped. The cruisers block his retreat, and now a battleship stands between him and safety. There is only one option, he says quietly: escape east. Scharnhorst turns hard to port, returning fire with what remains. Caesar fires again and again as British shells crash down around the ship. Another 14-inch shell slams into the superstructure, igniting a massive fire. Then a realization spreads among the German officers. Bruno is not on fire. It has been flooded unnecessarily. The order is given: drain the magazine. Slowly, the turret comes back to life, just as a 14-inch shell smashes into it. Smoke fills the interior. The crew evacuates. Once again, Caesar stands alone. Scharnhorst pushes her engines to the limit, racing eastward. On Duke of York, Fraser watches with growing concern. The range is increasing. Then disaster strikes. "Sir, we've lost radar." A German shell has crippled Duke of York's radar antenna. Without it, accurate fire in these conditions is almost impossible. In the radar shack, Lieutenant Harold Bates does not wait for orders. Seeing the damaged antenna drooping from the mast, he acts. He climbs. Snow and wind batter him as he ascends into darkness. Each blast from the main guns threatens to throw him from the mast. Ice cuts his hands. The wind tears away his hat. Still, he climbs. Below, Duke of York fires blindly into the night. Ahead, Scharnhorst begins to slip away. On the German ship, technicians restore Bruno once more. The turret fires again, sending shells toward the British battleship. Above the deck of Duke of York, Bates reaches the antenna. Hanging on with sheer will, he forces it back into alignment. Inside the ship, the radar screen flickers, then comes alive. Contact, range 22,000 yards. Radar contact confirmed. Correct and fire, now. The guns elevate. Shells roar skyward, vanishing into the storm. 30 seconds pass. Then one strikes. The shell punches through Scharnhorst's upper belt armor and detonates inside boiler room number 1. Steam pressure collapses. Damage report: severe loss of steam, speed reduced to 8 knots. Bay knows what this means. Quietly, he orders a final signal sent. "We will fight to the last shell. Long live Germany." Engineers manage to recover partial power. Scharnhorst accelerates to 22 knots, but it is no longer enough. British destroyers close in from all directions. "Focus fire on the destroyers," Bay orders. Secondary guns blaze, driving off some attackers, but not all. 2 destroyers rush forward and launch 8 torpedoes. 1 hits. Then 2 more destroyers attack, launching 12 torpedoes. 4 strike home. Scharnhorst shudders, slows, begins to flood uncontrollably. Bay orders a desperate counterattack. The battleship turns to launch her own torpedoes. Only 1 fires. It misses. Now surrounded, Scharnhorst fights on. Even burning, even crippled, her guns continue to fire. Caesar scores a hit on a British destroyer. The British answer with a final torpedo attack at point-blank range. 5 explosions rip into the hull. Caesar, the first turret to fire, finally falls silent. Water pours in. The ship lists heavily. On the bridge, Bay stands as the deck tilts beneath his feet. "At last," he says, "abandon ship." Admiral Fraser watches as Scharnhorst rolls onto her side. The bow sinks, the stern rises,
propellers still turning until the sea claims her completely. Later, Fraser addresses his men. "Gentlemen, the battle against Scharnhorst has ended in victory for us. I hope that any of you who are ever called upon to lead a ship against a superior enemy will command her as gallantly as Scharnhorst was commanded today." Of the 1,998 men aboard, only 36 survive. Conter-Admiral Eric Bay is not among them.